Witness the colossal boxing showdown nobody expected, live on Netflix. International superstar Jake Paul, the sport's most watched fighter, takes on Britain's two-time unified heavyweight world champion and Olympic gold medalist, Anthony A.J. Joshua, in the most dangerous and defining matchup of their careers. This is Judgment Day. Watch Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua, Friday, December 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live on Netflix.
When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
Oh, Hilton stay. Your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay, a holiday you're saving.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. This season, enjoy spacious, comfortable rooms and friendly service when you book with Hilton instead. Hilton for the stay.
Welcome to another Find the Edge production for the Premier League Cricket Club. Connecting players and coaches, clubs and leagues, volunteers and supporters alike, you're in the right place for the best of the 33 ECB Premier Leagues and the 20 NCCA counties, bringing you the stories, the stats and the standout performances that make this game great. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to both our Premier League and NCCA shows so you don't miss any episodes. Now, shall we get stuck in? Welcome everybody to the Overthrow, and as we've been doing right throughout the season so far, we're talking to people who are not necessarily players, not necessarily coaches, but actually in and around the game, because to be frank, it's probably more interesting some of the stuff we do during the summer. With me as always, my mate Mr. Hugh Newsome. How you doing, bud?
All good.
And joining us today, and it's a nice thing to say this, the first ever Premier League umpire of the female variety that we could find. I can't find them around the rest of England, but more importantly, in the Liverpool and District competition, otherwise known as the only league in the country still to just do timed cricket. Kirsty Blackham, how are you doing?
Very good, thanks.
Great to see you. Got to ask you, dead simple question to start with. Why umpiring? What grabbed you there? Because I think you're a Sefton Park girl when it comes to cricket, aren't you?
Yeah.
Did you not make it? Is that why you did it? Yeah, my cousin's a referee, so I'm allowed to say that.
To be honest, when it comes to cricket, I knew absolutely nothing about cricket. And I started playing, and I think the first ever game I played, I got this, what I know now as a caught and bowled, and everyone was like cheering and going wild. And I was just stood there like, oh, what just happened? And then as the games went on, things were happening. I didn't really understand it. So there was a free online course at the time, and I took part in that, liked it, went on to the next, which I think it was like stage 1 and 2 at the time. And then I get a call. I think someone asked me to jump onto the MCUA, just as a body for women on there, because there wasn't anybody on there. So yeah. I just paid the subscription, signed up to it, and thought that was that. And then I got a call off Chris Dunn and was like, oh, can you umpire on Saturday? And I was like, yeah, okay. And I think he must have heard the tremble in my voice that I'd never umpired. And he was like, oh, questioned it about it. And I said I'd never done it. So he said, we'll do a T20 first. So I did that. And then the rest is history from there.
Was this like a drunken Friday night T20 that you went straight into?
Yeah, and it was like I think it's like a League Two, Raynhill, oh God, what was the other team called? Somewhere on the Wirral. And I should never have been able to umpire again after that. It was terrible. Every time
I've got to ask the question, how many years ago is that now?
So this will be my third season, so that was three years ago.
So you've not done junior cricket? You've gone straight in, quite literally at the deep end?
I'd done a couple of the women's, and I think that's why as well I had to push on the umpires course, because we were struggling for umpires in the women's game at just a club level and stuff. So I did it for that. So I did a couple of the indoor tournaments, but nothing really major.
So from 2022, within a year, you're umpiring in the Liverpool District Premier League.
Yeah.
Within 3 years, you're doing England under-19s, and you've done List A in the women's game. You've umpired at Old Trafford, and I'm just going to name a couple of other places because people who are listening to this won't believe this. You've done cricket on ice, St. Moritz. You've been to the Indoor Cup in Vienna. But the one that throws me completely is the Chiang Mai Sixes in Thailand. Yeah. Is it fair to say you're becoming addicted to this, Kirsty?
Yeah. To be honest, you've got to, now there's so much cricket available out there, and I think it's trying to get the right balance, obviously, with work. And so sometimes I have to say no. Like, I've been invited back to a load of tournaments again next season that I've just had to say, look, I'm sorry, I can't, because trying to juggle family and work and everything. So
talk me through the Chiang Mai Sixes. Okay, someone rings you up and says, we've got a cricket tournament. You go, all right. It's abroad. It's in Chiang Mai. Okay. And then at that point, do you say, do I have to pay my flights? And if they say, no, we'll pay your flights. So did you have to fund this yourself, or was it a paid
to be honest, most of them you do tend to have to fund your own flight to go to them. And I never, the element of whether they're going to pay or that really never comes into it. I always think, oh, new place, yeah, let's go. But 9 times out of 10, they fund it when you get to the other side and you just flights and things.
So if I organise a cricket tournament in the Maldives, you'd be keen?
Yes, I'll be there.
I'm going to say the pitch might be a bit dry unless it's a bit too close to the edge there, Hugh, to say
the sea.
I did one last year at the Rhino Cup tournament, which was in Kenya, and that's like a charity run one. So that was everything fund for yourself. But then because the LMS World Cup was being held at the same time, they then chose to fund it, and they said, oh, we can pay you so much for a game. But I said, no, just, put it to the charity and stuff. So
fantastic.
The likes of the hotel and everything and food was covered. And then, I paid me flight there and stuff.
And it's fair to say, because obviously we've been in touch since we met at Repton when you did Leicestershire versus Derbyshire. That was your first List A game. It's so new to it that she didn't exist on the database for us when we were doing the analyst, and we had to get her added there and then. But looking at what you've done around and about, you treat these as family holidays a lot of the time, don't you?
Yeah, I've took the kids to some of them. Like, well, obviously Thailand and things like that.
And the kids play.
My daughter does. Yeah, she's under 9 at the minute, so she's but she's gone right through, and that's where I kind of started with it. She was at cricket tots, and then I was looking for a club for her. I found Sefton Park, and then that's how I then continued with it.
Okay, so of all the places you've been to, which would you describe as the maddest so far when it comes to the cricket?
Cricket on ice.
Just a week. Again, talk us through that. They're literally running around on bloody ice. I know that the pitch isn't, clearly.
Yeah, it's not ice. Obviously, the ice is there, and then it's like compacted snow on top. So I was thinking, oh, what footwear do you wear and all of this? But you just wear your cricket pimples,
the crampons,
Astro ones, and then it's just like walking on the snow. So, and then down the centre is just the Astro wicket. But when in one of the games, because there'd been quite a bit of sun, there was like a sinkhole, so we had to spray around it in blue to make sure no one goes near that bit. So that's literally wet. Well, one of the umpires slipped into it.
And was never seen again.
I was going to say, not seen again, and no players laughed, obviously.
No, I was walking off the square leg as he was walking in to come to his end, and I just heard first aid, and I look around and everyone was surrounding this sinkhole, but he was just walking off in a big smile to get to us and just missed it and just slightly slipped in.
Absolutely. I mean, we're joking about some of the places you've been to, but in all seriousness, what's driven you to be as addicted to it clearly as you are and enjoying it so much? But what's the most satisfying thing about the whole role for you?
For me, it's getting out there, going to different grounds, meeting new people. No two games are ever the same, so there's always something new to learn from, and I'm a bit of a learner and a nerd in that sense, where I like learning more. And that's it really.
I mean, I assume you've trained for this with a role in the police or the prison service or something like that. I mean, you obviously like putting yourself into conflict situations, because it's umpiring is not. It's not a. You're making it sound like it's this lovely idyllic pastime, like watercolors.
I'm signing up now.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a tough job. How have you ended up? Have you been able to cope with the conflict from the off?
I've never really had much conflict. I mean, obviously there's pressured moments, and especially now stepping into the Prem and stuff. But I think I deal well under pressure in situations like that. Just keep calm, and I don't think of it as this big thing.
You don't have to answer this, and I'm sure you won't. But apart from James Cole, Tyler McGladdery, Liam Gray, Gary Knight, John Dotters, they're all nightmares, clearly. But there must be one or two out there who must be bloody nightmares in the Liverpool District Prem.
No, I've not, to be honest, all of them have been all right with me as well. So
that's why I said them, obviously.
Issues, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's some of the umpires have said, and there's the stigma around, because you're a female and they don't want to give you stick. And this year, obviously, we've had our captain's marks back, and I've done pretty well in that sense. But they've said, now that they're familiar with you, let's see how it can season. Now that they're used to you, they've seen you around, you may see a different side next season. So,
was that basically they know you so they can give you more abuse?
Potentially.
Because those people I mentioned would never do that in the slightest. When did the significance hit you, Kirsty, that you are the first to do that? And, was that when you stepped onto that first Prem game, or was it's just another game?
Yeah, to me, it was just another game. Everyone was saying stepping off to the first game, the intensity, and you've got to be more alert. But then I think my first game was Birkenhead Park and Bootle in the Prem, and I got there, and I was thinking, what intensity? Yeah, it is a much quicker, and the calls are more. But I didn't feel like it was anything more. It was just another game of cricket, and I enjoyed being there.
But do you have a favourite format? Do you have a favourite format yourself? 20s?
Yeah,
never mind the sixes and all that.
Yeah, I love a good 2020s in outdoor. Time cricket is long, isn't it? Especially if it goes to the very last ball of the last hour. It's a long day.
So I still have nightmares. So I gave one of my under 15s out. He smashed the ball into his pad. I'm sure it was LBW. He convinced everybody on the field knew, apart from me, that he hit it. This is a lad who averages about 5. I think he was on about 4 at the time. He would have got out 2 or 3 balls later anyway, and he was very cross with me. And it still annoys me that I gave him out wrongly, even though in my mind it's fine. How do you? That's me with an under 15 game that doesn't matter. When you have made a mistake, because we all make mistakes, how do you process that? Are you able to just park it and put it down to learning, or does it bother you?
At first, I think when I first came into it, and within the first year or so it did, and you'd hold on to it, but then I found you'd make more mistakes because you're still thinking about that last mistake, whereas now I kind of just let it go, and then obviously think at the end of the game, maybe rewatch the videos and look where I've went wrong so I can learn from it next time. But yeah, that's just something that I've developed as I've gone on, whereas I did used to hold on to it, but as I say, then I found a lot more was.
You've sort of answered the question I was going to come to there. Do you find that watching them back, because there's a lot of streaming in particular now, that helps you? And is there that support and mentoring out there that there is when you get to that sort of level, as there is in football refereeing? I know that system really well in terms of how they're looked after. Do you find that's the same for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot more there. There's the MV player now, and obviously now that I've got to that level, you get your own login and you can go in, and it gives you like ball by ball, and it's a lot more detailed than when you are in the lower leagues and stuff. So it is there to look at, and the support from everyone has been great throughout it. Like I've got John Farrell, who's the area development, then a few others that I'll go to in terms, and I'll look at it and review it, and they say, well, what made you make that decision? What would you do differently next time? And it's all like, good feedback and stuff. It's not intense in any sense or hard on you. So.
And having only done this for 3 years now, which I still can't get my head around that, have you sort of got, shall we call them, I hate to use the word heroes, but is there female umpires out there that you look up to and go, that's where I want to be next year? I'm going to quote one in particular. This year I had the pleasure of being on analyst duty for Gabby Brown when she was umpiring at Warwickshire at Edgbaston. And then we had the chance to chat with her at Lord's when she umpired the National Championship final. Is that the sort of level that you're looking at?
Yeah, so she come down to one of my games at Loughborough and she was there unofficially and stuff, and I had a development officer there who was doing a development report. But then she also sat down with me after, and she was lovely, dead down to earth, giving me the feedback. So, and then like recently I had Anna Harris send me a message on Twitter, just saying how she'd heard good things, and it's not often that umpires hear it, so I just wanted to pass it on. So it was really nice.
Are you having to really study, because it's an incredibly complex game? And I mean, there's a great book by John Holder, which You're the Umpire. I think it's 200. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a great Christmas present. We should get commissioned for sending these things. It's 200 individual situations of You're the Umpire. And I've played a fair bit of cricket, and I got probably more than half of them wrong. And this is, you've got time to think about it, and there's so many situations. So is this something you really study for? Obviously jumping in at the deep end, are you still constantly working at your skill?
Oh yeah, every day's, a new learning day. There was this like development program set up, so we'd attend either online or in person once a month during the cricket season, and then obviously when you're coming into the new season with the promotion to the different levels now on the pathway, you have to obviously submit your laws tests and gain 90% or above now for this level. And then obviously just the regulations really in terms of every different, with there being so many variety of games now, I tend to read them the night before, give myself a little flashcard with the main things on it. And that's how I kind of prepare myself.
Now, you've raised one of my favourite questions. Hugh knows where this is going. Regulations.
Yeah.
Does it do your head in, like it does my head in, that there are so many different regulations where you go in different games and different formats?
Yeah, I think it got me this year with the the overhead height, whether it's a no ball or a wide. So in some aspects it was a wide, and then I got to one and I called a wide, or I called a no ball and it was a wide, and you're like, oh, and then you have to signal to the scorer, but yeah, so that's just something. Now,
with your business background and being in accountancy, that must drive you more potty than anything else. Because let's be honest, being an accountant, numbers only have one result. Full stop, end of story. 1 + 1 is 2, end of story.
Yeah.
But in cricket, we seem to be able to put 1 + 1 and come up with 5 all around the country in different regulations, left, right, and centre. Does that frustrate you to a certain extent?
I wouldn't say it frustrates me. It's just, getting used to the different.
Oh, come on. Your face says it all. It doesn't frustrate you, but it makes life difficult, doesn't it, for people to transition?
Yeah.
Most definitely. But are the ACO good at keeping you guys on top of that? Or is it very much a case of, as you're moving around to do it, you've got to be prepared for it as well?
Yeah, well, they'll obviously I'll get it through who's the umpire, and then you've got to go looking for the regulations yourself. You don't just get handed them and stuff, so you've got to find them, and there's one dashboard where it tends to all be and stuff, so you need to prepare yourself for that. They do send out bulletins, and obviously you'll have these monthly online things and try and inform you that way.
So what one law do players constantly misunderstand that drives you secretly mad?
LVW. My one. But,
do you find that easy now?
I found it easier. And as I say, as we've just mentioned, with all this online stuff now, you can look back and the ball tracking and different things. It is getting easier to when it first started.
So my co-host has openly admitted that he had an LBW where he's still feeling guilty, and he goes to confession about it week in, week out. Take us through you as an umpire when let's pick an example of someone we might know. Let's pick Liam Gray. Not the quietest when it comes to appealing, shall we say. So Liam comes running in, he's bowling a quick ball, it's third ball of an innings on a nice green top at Bootle. He appeals. What goes through? Take us through the process in your mind.
I'll say, remain calm throughout it. I'll kind of reassess the situation, what has happened. where it pitched, whether it's gone on to hit the pad or the bat first, whether it's going to go on to hit the wicket, and then give my decision as to whether I think it is or isn't.
Did you hear how simple that was, Hugh?
Well, yeah, well,
It's not.
Again, I get accused when I'm doing my umpire. I'm either triggering the fingers straight up, it's like, and then it might be plumb, yeah, it's out, the fingers straight up, but you've got to be methodical. Even though you can't just trigger. You've got to kind of do the same for every decision, haven't you? You can't just react, I suppose. Is that right? Would that be the right thing?
Because some of them you know straight away, like definitely that is out. But sometimes if I know it's definitely out, I'll count 1, 2, 3, and then slowly move it up, and then.
Have you got your special out sort of technique? Like what was his name? The
Billy Bowden.
Billy Bowden, that was it. Yeah. Is it? Have you got something like that going on?
No, just the classic.
See, I mean, I always think if you're going to move up in the game, as the cricketer football, you needed to stand out. I always think Marouane Fellaini, who ended up at Manchester United, Everton, was only a professional footballer because of his stupid hair. So maybe, obviously, aside from being an exceptional umpire, maybe you need something to help you stand out from the crowd. So maybe you need like a klaxon or something when you give someone out. Have you thought about that?
I'd probably go down well in Chiang Mai, actually.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that Sam Ritz and Chiang Mai would go quite well, wouldn't it? Do you think, we joke about it, but do you think when it comes to LBW, do you think players are generally quite ridiculous with some of the bloody appeals that they make?
Yeah, there is some, but you've got to.
And after 3 years now, especially around the Liverpool District, you're starting to learn the ones who you just know, hang on a minute, you know, don't you? So-and-so. Notice I'm not using names now. So-and-so's appealing 15 times in his 12 overs. You know that he's lucky if he gets one. Whereas if it's to pick a Tom Sefton or a John Dotters, you know that actually they're going to appeal, but actually they know what they're doing, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, I've found that as you're going up, there is ones that will only appeal when they think it's generally out, and then there's people that just appeal and appeal and appeal.
And as you've gone through the rankings and you've got to List A level and got to England under-19 level, have you found that the pressure on you from those players has become a lot more intense than even at Premier League level?
Yeah, I definitely said that. Like this year, I haven't done half as many games as I probably did, but I felt as the season was over, like quite drained, and I was ready for the winter rest. And then I was speaking to this with John about, and he said it's probably the intensity of the games. It's more, for your mind and stuff, and you are more tired in that sense.
So which has been the most intense game of the season so far for you? Which is the one that you go back on and go, I'm knackered?
Maybe probably in the Premier League, some of them games.
Well, they're timed games, so what do you expect?
Yeah, so in terms of like mental, the women's game I don't think is as intense as the Premier League men. So I think once I come from Liverpool Comp and doing the men's Premier League, they don't seem as intense.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to ask, that women's game versus men's game. Is it just I'm going to use the most simple way of looking at it. It comes across, and I've done a lot of work on the women's game this year, it just comes across as nicer.
Yeah, I was going to say that nicer. It's just
more
nicer,
polite.
more pleasant. Yeah. Everyone's a bit, in a different happy atmosphere. And this is my son wanted to start playing cricket, and he was introduced to the women's, and he came along and was seeing that. So then he started, and he was at this point under 13s, and so he started training at Sefton with the boys and then the men's, and he was like, no, this isn't for me. He said it's not like the women's at all.
Okay, that's interesting. But as you go through the women's game and the more further up you go, have you found then that intensity is great? I'm going to quote someone, like Ellie Threlkeld at Lancashire. She's from your part of the world, as you well know. She's prone to a rather loud appeal, but she's a wicketkeeper, Hugh. So you've got to expect that. Have you seen that the further up you go?
Yeah, definitely. The intensity is there. But it is, as we've just said, a nicer game than the Liverpool Comp Premier.
But if you had a choice of that Liverpool Comp Premier versus going to, I don't know, let me pick an example. You're told on a Saturday you're going to go and do, let's pick Northern versus Rainhill. But then you get the opportunity from the ACO group, whatever it is, to say, go and do let's pick the Disability Premier League down in Worcester. Something completely different. Which one are you choosing?
It depends because I'll sometimes pick the stuff off the ECB if it's going to help further develop
Yeah.
the pathway, whereas if it's not, then I'll tend to stick to the MCUA and whatever they've appointed me. Because I have had that where I got given a Metro Bank one day down in Northwood on a Saturday, so I chose and went and done that. But
Yeah.
we're always short of umpires, obviously in the comp, and I never want to let Chris down when he's doing the appointment. So I'll tend to
I,
stick to that unless it's something.
I have two people in every league that I have more respect for than anyone else. Number one, the registration secretary. They've got the worst job in any league whatsoever. Number two, the umpires secretary. And Chris does a phenomenal job with a relatively small team up there.
Yeah.
Do you think that, do you find yourself talking to people now saying, why don't you do this? Come along and be an umpire, get yourself sorted, because they need more, full stop.
Yeah, I do. I'll have the conversations, but it's most of the people I'm having the conversation with, they're already players and they're not really interested yet. And then anyone outside of it that I know aren't interested in it. So
Yeah.
it's a difficult one trying to bridge that gap and find more people.
So looking forward then, what's your winter look like? And then what would you like 2026 to look like?
So for the winter,
In terms of
I'm
cricket.
having a rested winter now. I haven't took any more overseas tournaments on because obviously work and things like that. We've got financial year end coming up and new network data stuff. So that's all.
Oh, sounds all so serious now, doesn't it?
Oh. So it's going to be quite a boring winter. And then obviously I'd had a meeting with David Ellsworthy as to where I want to go with this because he's looking to push me in a direction, but he knows I commit to other things and all of it. So now my focus is going to be on using me holidays for next season. They're going to push me into tier 2 a lot more on the women's game. Obviously, I'll go into the Liverpool comp prem again and see where that goes.
I mean,
And
is
maybe
this something you could turn into a full-time career?
Yeah,
potentially?
well, I think I don't know, there's been conversations around this professional contract, and I asked what that entailed, but they said, it's commitment to so many days per year, which wasn't as much as I expected, and things like that. So, yeah, I think I've done more than that already this year. So,
Absolutely. If you were to be talking to a young girl on the sidelines who's watching you, because let's be honest, there will be people looking, going, bloody hell, it's a girl umpiring in the middle there amongst all these men. What would your message be to someone about giving that a go?
if I can do it, you can. I literally knew nothing about cricket.
Exactly.
So I think it's just having that confidence and going out there and, if you make mistakes, just learn from them and keep on pushing. I think, my first game, every time something was going on, I'm like doing the YMCA. I didn't know, and I could see Chris standing at square leg looking at me. But even the players afterwards were like, you did really well, just have more confidence in yourself. So I think that helps, along the way. But yeah.
And would you describe it, compared to your business life and your career outside of cricket, how difficult would you say to somebody who's looking at it from the outside and going, this game's bloody ridiculous, because it is a ridiculous game that we love. How difficult is it that you would say to somebody, is it that difficult, or is it just follow the structure, go along with it?
I mean, I don't find it difficult, but as I mentioned before, I'm, keen learner and I'm a perfectionist. I want to get everything right, so I'll study and things. But it's not really, if you know what you're doing, and which I didn't at first, there's people there to support you. And yeah, it is, I think it's easy. Many others don't, but.
And if you could whisper a message into club captains' ears let's use the Liverpool District Premier League example, just a little message before the game, what would it be?
I think they've all been quite good with me, so there's nothing I could say. At the toss, we just, I always mention, I'll give whatever the decisions I believe to be true at the time and stuff. If you're happy with it, come and see me, but, accept it as it is and leave the pitch. And now I've had that, to be honest, so there's nothing say that doesn't already happen.
Have you had a real one, a game that's, through no fault of your own, particularly where you remember that and people's behaviour wasn't necessarily up to standard, shall we say?
Spicy.
Yeah. This year in particular, I've never had to do any reports before this year, and I found this year I've done a fair few, to be honest.
In the Prem or elsewhere?
No, so not in the Prem, but in like cup games and things like that.
Okay.
But this will be like his first. I think last season I did a bit of Lancashire League, just to get my head into overs cricket because obviously we don't really do it apart from the cup games, and I found it can be a bit different there, in terms of attitudes and stuff. So.
Oh, go on. We've got to ask that question because we love all these leagues. The Lancashire League is a different league to the Liverpool District Comp altogether.
Yeah.
You might be less than it's less than an hour apart in most cases.
Yeah.
What did you find different there? Was it the spicy nature of it, the real borderline sort of professional the way they are?
Yeah, I think this the I give someone else LBW and he was like, Mark, kicking off. It wasn't. I've hit it, and even as the fielders were saying, it's definitely his pad, and so. And then walking off, he's shouting on, and even still on the sideline shouting on. And then the next one, someone appealed for an LB, and I gave it not out, and he's still from the side. Oh, so you're seeing that one? It's kind of. Yeah, that was.
But they'll actually 15, yeah.
Yeah, they'll actually play a Sunday though, which helps because you can do a Saturday Sunday that way, can't you? You can do those extra games, and I just say it's a good league to get experience in the Lancashire League because it's a proper hard league and you get decent crowds around some of those grounds as well, don't you? Which you don't get that crowd around the Liverpool District Prem.
And a good tea.
Oh, now we're talking definitely. So in terms of the teas. Lancashire, by the sounds of things, has been good, but where else has been? You've gone, bloody hell, I want to go back there.
Most places now that you go to, like in these Metro Day Bank or the Vitality Blast, they all do. I think that one that I met you at Ripton, was it?
Repton, yeah.
Breakfast in the morning, and then when you first arrived, then the lunch or whatever, then the tea. It was quite a good spread.
They do know how to do those things at Repton. And, I was there purely coincidentally a few weeks later. I was there for Derbyshire versus Worcester doing the Metro Bank. And again, that was a full 50 over game and they put a cracking spread on for us all day. They know how to look after us, the best way to put it. Let's ask some quick fire ones just to sort of see what's been happening. So what's the funniest moment you've seen on the field so far?
I think it's got to be that one at the cricket on ice, to be honest, when he's slipped into the funny ball. Yeah.
Most ridiculous appeal you've had, and name the bowler.
Pressure.
Oh.
Yeah, we want to know him.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of one.
Okay, what about a time where you've gone home thinking, I've absolutely nailed that no matter what anyone thinks today?
I think the most recent one, probably the Thunder Cup, which was at Old Trafford, the Thunder Cup finals. I came off and the development was there as well, and he was just like, you were just brilliant in every aspect, and I felt like it was a really good game.
Well, I think you're probably going to answer this one the same though. Favourite ground you've stood at?
Old Trafford, definitely. If that was on my list of where to be, that was the place, and I got it on the last game of the season.
Okay. LBW that you're proudest of, and who was the victim?
There's loads, to be honest. Loads of LBs.
There's loads. Trigger Happy Blackham it's going to be, isn't it? Definitely.
I remember giving one out, but I think it was one of them, as you said, Trigger, and you just straight up, because you kind of know it's clear. And even I was like straight up, and I thought, oh no, that was too soon. And then he walked off, and he's like, "You need to be a bit slower."
Even though he was literally playing French cricket.
Yeah.
Okay. Helmet cam for umpires, genius or nightmare?
No, genius, I think.
Because you'll have worn the body cam, won't you?
Yeah, I've worn the body cam, so I think it's brilliant. Yeah, so I think it's that good because you can go back and track it even better. Some of the videos I watched at Loughborough from that, I thought was great.
And how do you prepare for a game in terms of? Do you have a ritual? Now have you now having done nothing and then 3 years on, have you got that dressing room ritual?
Yes, definitely a good night's sleep the night before.
Okay.
And then in the morning, I think, just making sure my bag's packed and I double check it, because I turned up to a game once and I forgot to put my black pants in. So I had to send a taxi with them, because I thought, they were like, oh, just umpire in your jeans. I was like, no chance. So yeah, double. And then, I'll just go from there, I think.
Do the kids come to the games?
No, not 9 times out of 10, no. Because it's time cricket, it's a long day, isn't it? There's the odd one, if it's like a friendly or whatever, I'll take my daughter along. My son's not interested, but my daughter will.
And the most important question, spirit of cricket, alive and kicking, or needs a tune-up?
I don't know, alive and kicking?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, Hugh and I watch and are around a lot of cricket, and I can't think of a single occasion in the last season, Hugh, where I've gone, well, no, I can actually.
I can think of one, yeah.
Yeah, there's one that we both were at the same. Actually, there's one in particular I've just thought of, funny enough.
But I think in the long run, I think it's broadly the same. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Do you see yourself progressing then in the next 2 to 3 years, speedily, level 2, getting up there? Where do you want to be? It's the obvious question. Where do you want to be in 3 years' time?
I never really see myself as being anywhere in this, to be honest. I kind of was just going along with the flow, but then now when I've got to this level, I've seen where it potentially is going to go, and I'm enjoying it, so I wouldn't mind to be up there.
Well, I've spent a bit of time with Richard Kettleborough this summer around the fields, and I'm always immensely jealous, because he's usually about to set off to somewhere or has just landed from somewhere. So I think the 3-year goal to be on his planes. And I was chatting to him. We're over at Moddershaw, and he was about to fly out to the West Indies series versus Australia. I was like, yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, and sadly for him, he didn't get to see his son play the next day, and his son got a very, very nice 50. But I think I'd have traded that for a trip to West Indies. So, is that somewhere on the horizon? Is that something that maybe would be of interest?
Yeah, definitely. Who would want to say no to that?
Yeah, and that is the key. And the way the women's game's growing, I mean, I'm sure next year with the World Cup being here in England, you're going to be all over that, aren't you?
We'll see, maybe, yeah.
Oh! You're not going to jump the levels that quickly, are we? All of a sudden?
No, not like that. But no, I'll always take my daughter along to watch the games and stuff. My son's come the odd time now. He's getting a bit more interested, but he's not.
And I've got to finish by asking the really simple one, going back to the beginning. You knew nothing about this 3+ years ago, right? No. Umpiring's become an addiction. Has cricket become an addiction and a passion for you now as well? Because at the end of the day, that's what we're all about on the Premier League Cricket Club.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely has grown on me from just taking Olivia along to the games to watch her at cricket tots and stuff. Now every bit of cricket, I'm now the treasure of the MCUA somehow, and all of this, I'm like yes to everything. But yeah, it's been absolutely brilliant.
Fantastic. Absolutely. Well, I think, I can sum it up by saying that, I look at cricket from the outside in when I put my business head on, and I still can't understand why the hell I love it. But at the same time, that passion, once it gets in there, it just ekes away at you. And as you said earlier, there's so much cricket going on around the world now. You can't open your phone or open your computer in the morning without seeing a game that's somewhere, can you?
Yeah.
Most definitely. Congratulations on what you've done so far, Kirsty. To do it in 3 years, I think, is beyond phenomenal, to say the least. I don't normally get to say that word straight away without making a mistake.
I can't say phenomenal, so there you go.
Thank you. We'll be watching where you go with this next year, because it's just fascinating to see someone come in with no cricket behind them. And I'm sure you won't mind me saying this. It's not like you're from the most cricket-hungry part of the world, shall we call it. I'm born and bred in Liverpool, like yourself. Cricket's there, but it's not the first. It's way down the pecking order. Yeah. So to do what you're doing and doing it to this level, it's pretty sensational, and you've got to be proud of yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Most definitely. Thanks for your time.
Oh, thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks for joining us at the Premier League Cricket Club. We'll be back soon with more from the world of Premier League and NCCA cricket. But in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and follow us wherever you get your socials. or maybe check out our website, premierleaguecricket.co.uk, to stay updated. Until next time, have a good one.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here, wishing you a very happy half-off holiday, because right now Mint Mobile is offering you the gift of 50% off unlimited. To be clear, that's half price, not half the service. And Mint is still premium unlimited wireless for a great price. So that means a half day. Yeah? Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.